are back here live, direct from the show floor at NAB 2019 in beautiful Las Vegas. And we're here now talking with Eric Pratt of US Broadcast Distribution. Eric, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Yourself? Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, it's great to be by here. Now, many people may not know what role someone like you plays in the video production process.
Yep.
What actually is your job?
So I am a manufacturer's representative for a number of the clients that you've stopped by. You were just at the Scarhoy booth, so we're the manufacturer's rep for Scarhoy in the US. I'll take you through a couple of their implementations, even though Casper probably did an excellent job on that. We're also the manufacturer's rep for Aida. This is the booth that we're on. They've been kind enough to let us set up a variety of our solutions here, and with that, I'd like to explain some of their camera products.
Yeah, before we do that though, what is the benefit of going through a distributor like yourself? What sort of value add do you bring?
So we work with resellers and vendors, and we kind of partner them together in a variety of different ways. So some vendors like to work directly with resellers, some work through distribution, some we handle the distribution, some we find a distributor. There's a number of different combinations, which it depends on the vendor, it depends on the product, it depends on the market landscape. So we try to offer a range of services to help vendors get their products to market here in North America.
And I know you're a super accessible guy on Facebook, and it's very easy to talk to you and chat with you. Is it expected that you provide sort of that first level of customer support? Or is that just you, Eric?
That is just me. I mean, I like to, social media is the way things work these days. And if, your product is getting a bad rap on social media, and there's nobody there, it's that old adage that, 20 happy customers is not as good as, is better than anyway. If you have one bad customer, it's not worth 20 good customers, because that one bad customer will spread the bad news like, I had a terrible experience with this product. And having somebody there to manage those kinds of relationships, I like to keep on top of these things. I can spot support issues early, and it's just part of the services that we offer.
I think the expression you're looking for is bad news makes it halfway around the world before good news gets its pants on.
Exactly.
So I see this wonderful Aida camera that you've got right here.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit. Aida is not the best known brand yet in those sort of cameras. What's Aida's selling proposition?
That's also sort of my métier, is products that have not yet reached the market. So I've gone around the world to find the best products at trade shows from vendors that don't necessarily have market penetration or presence here.
You're a little like Indiana Jones.
A little bit. So like Nimbus, they're a wireless transmission company. They actually make something extremely unique. I'll show you when we get on down there. But I went to Broadcast Asia to find them, and that was how I made that connection. Same thing with Scarhoy. I picked them up at IBC. I had to travel to Amsterdam.
Rough life.
Yeah, it's terrible. I had to go there, and I met with them. I saw their products. I found that they were good, and we began the process of distribution here to get their product well known, and then we found them a stronger distribution partner and segued into a manufacturer's rep role. So that's just a little bit more of what we do. So
it does look like a very industrial sort of solution.
Yeah, so the Aida cameras have a very rugged design. That's full aluminum metal housing. You could drive a car over them. This is a new product. This is a 4K 6G HDMI camera, and it's a box camera with a 12x zoom on it. And what we did is we tried to kit it out in a way that made it look like a production camera. So we put a matte box on it and a screen on a tripod, just to show you that this little $1,400 camera could actually be used in this role.
Now wait a second, it's a 4K 6G camera with the lens for $1,400.
Sorry, it's $1,295.
With the lens?
With the lens. So the lens is integral. It's a 12x zoom lens.
Powered zoom.
Powered zoom. So I'm gonna aim it over at your camera so you can see what that gorgeous lens looks like. It's just a ton of glass, and that is actually the inspiration for this setup, is that this looks like it could be a studio camera if you imagined it a little bit. So I'm trying to get people to see it in different roles, because this is actually a phenomenal camera with an amazing sensor, but this I wanted people to see it in a different light, other than just maybe putting it up at the back of a church or in the back of a town council, that kind of thing. So that's this camera. And then what we're doing is we're running the 6G into this.
We're going to try to move here. Our poor camera guy is, we're surprising him here with a surprise move. Let me step to the other side of you. Stay on this side if you would, and go ahead and tell us what we're looking at here.
So we have extra thick carpeting here, so it's very difficult for the cameraman to move around, so it's a bit of a long shot. We have the Rakeem MVP, and this is taking in the 6G signal from that camera. So 6G is obviously 4K, and what we're doing with this box is we're making this one 4K camera look like 8 different cameras. So we're outputting 8 HD regions of interest that are all fully controllable, animatable, and we can output them each by a 3G SDI output port. So we can then run that into our switcher, or we can use this like a switcher because it comes with this control surface within the $4,200 price point for the product, and then we can use it just like a switcher. So it's a 4K region of interest product that we can use as a switcher, but there's a number of other applications for it.
This is very cool, actually. Not only is it's an animated region of interest, obviously. Does it do any kind of tracking, or is that an option?
That is something that's currently being discussed. Yeah, tracking.
That would be a huge deal.
Following the people around on the stage. Indeed. Yes, absolutely.
Keep going. We've only got a couple minutes left. Let's come
on down here. We have Videon's Savano. It's this little gray box here. This is a PoA-powered 4K HEVC region encoder. So this is streaming in RTMP, HLS, unicast, multicast, and it's doing it all in 4K. So we're taking an Aida 4K camera, running it into here, and then we're sending this out to the internet. And the real advantage of their products is that they can do extremely low latency in terms of global distribution. Their RTMP point-to-point is about 4 seconds from input to output, so it can be extremely fast. You know, a lot of the latency on, if you're watching Facebook or a lot of live streams, you're seeing something that is sometimes 30 to 60 to even more seconds behind. And in a case like sports betting or sports, a variety of different auctions, if these things aren't happening.
I would never have gotten that from what you were doing.
I was trying to think. If they're trying to go fast enough, it's really important that there be an extremely low latency in certain scenarios, and this is the box for that.
Now that looks like another Aida camera next to it. What's on top of that one?
This is a KiloView NDI encoder. So this is NDI HX. It's a battery-powered wireless NDI HX encoder meant to be mounted on a camera. So this is interfacing with our wireless network, and then we're just sending a 20 megabit NDI HX stream over to our vMix box.
So that's something similar to a NewTek Spark, but
with a battery?
With a battery.
And with a camera mount, integral.
Nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
You're on a roll, sir. Keep going.
You probably already looked at the PTZ Pro. We have that controlling the Aida camera up there. So this is just showing that integration between Skarhoy and Aida. Behind that, we have the Sportscast Score Hub. It's a new type of product from them which takes in scoreboard data and outputs NDI or XML or HDMI scoreboards. Next to that, we have, this is one of my favorites. This laptop here has 2 SDI inputs on it. So it's very difficult to get people to go out in the field and do live production with reliable connections, like
Thunderbolt 3 that just pops right out at the worst possible moment.
And HDMI to a certain extent. Those kinds of plugs come out very easily, whereas this has 2 locking connectors on it, so we can actually get battery-powered SDI production out of a laptop using vMix in the field. Below that is our 1U NDI box, brings in 8 channels of SDI to NDI. Below that is our 2U vMix box. This is like a $5,000 box with 4 inputs of SDI. And then our flagship product, the Turbo. This is our portable live production system. We're showing a 4-channel 6G solution here, so we're bringing in all of the 6G cameras that you see here into the box and switching it all in 6G. And I'm also using it as my presentation tool. So I've got my Skarhoy set up to dial me through all of my different presentation points. So I'm using vMix as sort of like a 3ME switcher. So I've still got my program and preview. So I can step through program and preview here, and I can also dial up my talking points behind me. So when I'm doing interviews or talking about different things to customers, I remember what I need to talk about. And then
Sorry.
Okay, go on.
I was about to say, this product, it's a great form factor. It looks a lot like the Livestream studio products, which I just heard, I think the other day, they are no longer going to be manufacturing. So this could be a great opportunity there.
Yeah, since this is a portable, and it does have a lot of the same design ethic, but there's an important key change between this and the 550. This actually takes full height cards, so we can get as many as 20 SDI inputs in that. So this is extremely expandable, and it's very flexible, so we can mix and match. Like, say you want 4K HDMI and 12 SDIs. So there's a lot of flexibility here in terms of this system. That's sort of one of the value-added points of this platform.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and what sort of price point does that start at, if I may ask?
About 8,000.
Which is about where the 550 was. It may even be cheaper than where the 550 was, so that's amazing.
This is a little bit bulkier. The 550 was extremely slim.
Yeah, we're all a little bit bulkier, Eric. I gotta say, I don't think that's something to really be ashamed of.
Yeah. Well, I have lugged this thing.
You don't want to fat shame your live streaming system.
This is
not everything has to be done on an iPad, is what I'm saying.
This still fits in an overhead airline compartment. I've taken this to 7 different countries and 23 different states. It's travel ready. It fits in just about every airplane except for a Bombardier 311, and basically nothing fits you. If you can bring your carry-on, your rollerboard, you're good. This thing will fit. Last but not least, Nimbus. This is a wireless transmission system, and if you're thinking wireless transmitters are boring, I'm not the kind of guy that reps a boring product. So the neat thing about these wireless transmitters is that they include Ethernet, serial, intercom, H.264, and they've got something called a relay, which lets it go around corners. Intercom is really cool. It's an important part of live remote production. So
Ethernet as well, at the same time.
The Ethernet is actually really exciting. So over at the Nimbus booth, they have it set up controlling a PTZ camera. So we have a Scarhoy controller controlling the PTZ camera through the wireless, but it can get even better than that if we wanted to shade a camera. So if we wanted to shade an Ursa or any Ethernet-enabled camera using the Scarhoy products, or I've come up with even more bizarre applications. You can have a switcher down at the other end of the field. So if you have a little Blackmagic Studio, you can use your Scarhoy controller to wirelessly control that ATEM 3,000 feet away. So you put your switcher on the other side of the stadium, and you can use it to switch between 3 cameras and only send one of those signals back. So it's an economization of wireless stuff.
And what sort of price range do those tend to go between?
So this model is $3,500. They've got less extensive models with without the intercom, just video. They work out to be about $1 a foot.
$1 a foot, fantastic. Listen, I think we've blown just about everyone's mind out there with this huge amount of information, but I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time. It's great to see you here at the Aida booth at NAB 2019. And if people want to find out more about you, obviously you're on Facebook, where can people find you?
usbroadcast.co is probably the easiest one. That'll get you to our Facebook and YouTube pages right at the start, and it also has a little bit of information about the products that we just talked about.
Eric Pratt, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having us on.
And that's all the time we have for this interview, but we've got plenty more content coming up, so please stick around right here on Live Now.